All right, everyone, we are here with the final run of day 2 of Game Over Cancer in support of the Canadian Cancer Society, and I am very excited for this one. We have an absolute lover of indie games, Heponwana, here, showcasing Love 1, 2, and 3, and thanks to your generous donations, it's going to be remastered 100%. And so, Heponwana, let's show the people some love.
Thank you, So. Hello, everyone. I am Heponwana. I am here to bring you not just love, but Love 3, and it's Love 1 plus 2 plus 3, so that's all of the love to wrap up this Tuesday night. Love 3, if you don't know what it is, it's a precision platformer, so think along the lines of something like Super Meat Boy or something like that. So, type of game where there are a lot of deaths, but a lot of learning, a lot of fun, and this game definitely has a really cool vibe to it. One thing I love to do to show a little love before we get started is we have these trace flags. I want to put up the trans trace flag right here because definitely want to show some love to the trans community. And so, this game has a whole bunch of different modes, and you're probably wondering, what is Love 1 plus 2 plus 3 in a game called Love 3? Well, Love 3 is the third game in the Love trilogy, and it includes all of the stages of Love 1, Love 2, and Love 3, and you're like, what is that remastered versus classic? Well, Love 1 had its original release in 2014, but also when Love 2 came out, the Love 1 stages were brought over Love 2, but they were remastered to be a little more in vibe with the Love 2 polish. So it's pretty much a matter of polished versus kind of rough and original and just nitty gritty. We're going to be doing remastered, so in the end, we're going to have 16 stages from Love 1, 25 stages from Love 2, and 25 stages from Love 3, getting every single collectible, which is a whole lot of love coming your way. I'll explain a little more what we're doing once we get going. Time will begin as soon as I start this right here. So, excuse me. Time begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So in this game, there are a few basic things we need to know. Every stage has 3 colors. There is black. Black is the void, the background, what you are running through. Every stage has a color. This one is green. That is the stage itself, what you are running through. And then every stage has something that is white. The white things are things that kill you, things that do things, and things that are you. So these bouncy platforms, those are white. Our little buddy here, 5'8" is his name because he is 5 pixels wide, 8 pixels tall. He is white. These spikes are white. They will kill you. Same with these little spinny things. Some stages are really long, some are very short, and we're just going to see a lot of them as we go through. For the 100% on this game, we need to get these collectibles. And real quick, collectibles in Love 1, very simple. They are just things we grab. In Love 2, very much similar, but a little bit more complicated how we get them. Love 3, on the other hand, is going to be essentially a puzzle game, and I'll show you more about that when we get there. We will bonk into that platform as we fall down to avoid this static that will bonk us if we touch it. That is us being bonked. Definitely want to avoid being bonked like that. This game is incredibly hard. I like to make it look easy, but sometimes I make it look hard as I bonk and, have my little 5'8" buddy meet his doom a few times. You'll also notice I'm putting down this little shiny thing that looks like me. Up there is hanging out. That is a checkpoint. You are allowed to put a checkpoint anywhere and everywhere you want to, as long as it's on ground. You cannot put it in midair, and if it gets killed, if it's something hits it that would take one of 5'8's lives. By the way, cake was not a lie. The cake was a secret right there. If if something would cause harm to us and a checkpoint gets hit by it, that checkpoint will go away. Which can be a huge challenge in this game, because if you put a checkpoint near the end of a stage and you end up dying, well, guess what? If you die, you're going back to the very start of the stage, and that could be a whole mess of time that is gone. Other fun things in this game, very much it is a speedrunner friendly game. The game is made by Fred Wood, who definitely has a love for the speedrun community. This game was ran as a race at AGDQ 2023 by myself, Charbunny, and Polister. And as part of the AGDQ 2023 fun, Fred Wood threw in a custom level just for the event. That's how much he is in support of the speedrun community. I fell a little off cycle there, so most stages are going to have a perfect cycle. And I unfortunately fell off that perfect cycle when I took one extra death. So our challenge on these stages is trying to get these perfect cycles whenever we can, because this game can be incredibly tricky. One great thing is playing. You'll notice when we started the game, we selected do time attack or speedrun mode, which A, puts a timer in the upper left corner, which is fantastic, but also it takes out all RNG. So anytime we die, we will end up having a little quick animation as we die. And if we were doing this not in speedrun mode, that animation could be a bit longer and a bit randomized, which is not meant to do that. That is part of the challenge of this game, is how can you get rid of RNG or anything adjacent to it? And by being in speedrun mode, we don't have any of that RNG. So if we die, it's always this quick death right here. And you're probably thinking, why am I standing here? It's a speedrun. What am I doing? Well, just like we saw with the previous game, near the end there was an auto-scroller. Well, near the beginning of Love, there is an auto-scroller. This right here is an auto-scroller because we have to ride these bouncing platforms, and we can only go as far forward as the most forward platform, which is right now heading up. And we cannot go any quicker than this. So if there are any announcements, this is a fantastic time.
I do have an announcement. We have now passed $600 raised for the Canadian Cancer Society, thanks to this $50 donation from Buzzer Yum Yum, who says, "Love you Heponwana from Buzzer and Iro. Here's to the kitties and good music."
Thank you, Buzzer. Buzzer Yum Yum is my partner. She is fantastic, always supports me during speedrun events. And Iro would be my older doggo, which is hanging out in the other room watching the stream. I've got my younger pupper with me, Holo, who is my good luck charm, at least I hope so. So right now we are in the belly of the beast. I love the fact that this game, we will go from stages that look very mechanical and very geometric to all of a sudden being in something that feels almost organic despite the simplicity of the visuals. And this feels like we are in a beast. So you might be wondering, is there a story to this game? Like, you know, this is a precision platformer. A lot of them have very good stories to them. Like, I love the story of Super Meat Boy. It's, you know, just all about Super Meat Boy going through all these rough times. Well, here you're probably wondering, what is 5-8's story? Well, 5-8 is the last human in the post-apocalypse. And in the post-apocalypse, he is looking for friends. He is lonely. You know, just like all of us would be. If we were left on our lonesome, we would definitely want to have some friends. Well, that's what 5-8 wants, and maybe during this speedrun, we'll be able to get him some friends. So this right here is some trickiness. You're probably noticing there's bullets going. Everything's very, very frantic and difficult. I call this a Mario run, running across blocks just like Mario would. So big thing on this game is learning the cycles. And when you play this category where you have 67 or 66 stages, it would be 67 if we're playing on Classic, because Classic does have one additional stage, although it's a very short stage. In the end, Remastered is longer, even though Classic is a little longer in stage count number. Going to try that. Perfect. Made that in one cycle. So, I forget entirely what I was saying because this game is frantic. It definitely gets your brain working overtime. So right now, one other thing I did not mention previously is every single stage of this game has its own unique song, which every song in this game is amazing. I love this game for that. This game is pretty much the love product of two people. Fred Wood did the game design and the visuals. James Bennett did the entire soundtrack, all stages, every single one. This is the most difficult collectible in the Love 1 level sets. We're also on the final Love 1 level set, or level of the set. So the final stage, you'll notice there are a lot of these challenges that look very familiar to the previous stages. The last stage of each level set is essentially a final exam. So this right here is incredibly tricky to get through that. I mean, just look at those drops raining down. It is tricky as can be. So every stage or every level set ends with essentially a final exam. This is the final exam of Love 1. I always love to say, we're about to end Love 1 stage, but don't worry, we'll always be in love one way or another. But now we are in Love 2. Love 2 has 25 stages. Just like Love 1, the collectibles are pretty obvious, but they're a little trickier on this level set. You'll also notice some of the stages are a little bit larger. The overall theme is a little more complex. Essentially, you could tell when Love 1 became Love 2. Also, there is Charlie, Fred Wood's cat. Sadly, Charlie is not with us any longer or anymore. Charlie has passed on, but no better way of showing your love for a pet than immortalizing them in your game, which Fred Wood did. And you might be thinking, oh, I blinked and I missed Charlie. Well, good news, we will see Charlie again. Charlie will come back 4 more times. Ooh. This area is just a little on the tricky side. So we will see Charlie a total of 5 times in the Love 2 level sets. In fact, we will see Charlie in one of his most hidden spots in this level. This level is all about realizing there are no safe spots. Every single spot is essentially going to be bad news at one time or another, so we gotta keep moving. Leap of faith, and there is Charlie, and now we're gone. But don't worry, we will see Charlie again. We will see Charlie many times. Well, 3 more times. Each of these stages has kind of a different theme for the challenges we face. This one has these little bullets moving back and forth. Ooh, slightly off on my time right there. This one right here is essentially an auto-scroller. There is a cycle. You cannot go any quicker than the cycle lets you go. So even though we're moving nice and frantic, we can only go so fast in this stage. And now we're on to a stage that is potentially very problematic or very good, depending. This stage has a way of getting away from you or doing rather good, depending on how you're doing on that day. So I mentioned checkpoints. If we leave them where they could be shot, you'll see those checkpoints got killed up above. because I left them where they could be shot by those beams. We are on the ideal cycle right here, so nice and fast. We don't need to wait for anything. This has a very tricky, leap of faith, and I barely missed it. Oh, if you miss that leap of faith, it could be very tricky to get back on cycle. Some of these stages, if you miss the ideal normal cycle, you are in a lot of trouble. In this stage right here, we have these guns that will keep shooting at us, so it's all about trying to avoid getting shot, which is probably good advice in life, don't get shot. And you really don't have any time to even think right here. Grab that collectible. Ooh. And let this gun open that path for us, and on we go. I always liken this stage to being inside of an engine because it feels like we're in some sort of engine. It's real big, very mechanical. And now, once we get past this stage, is the most interesting stage in my opinion for 100% versus any percent. So if we were doing any percent, we could run through this stage with a perfect cycle of just running through it without a second thought. But because we need to get this collectible, we keep having to come to a stop and pause in place, which causes us to lose a little bit of time. But we get that collectible in the end. Once again, we're in a very organic feeling stage. Like I said, some of these stages feel very mechanical, like that one that I said felt like being in an engine. Some feel very organic, like this has these little puffs of gas. It has like very round edges. Really interesting type of motif. This is one of those stages where it's all about being on the perfect cycle. We were on a great cycle right there, so we could get through to the most tricky collectible in Love 2. Go completely out of bounds through what looked like a solid wall, run on some clouds, see Charlie the kitty right there. Give it up for Charlie the kitty. I love that kitty. Oh. And then just gotta get through a few saw blades and we will be out of this area. So we just fell down quite a bit in that previous stage. This stage, we're going to go back up. So we are going to head back up. This one is all about the Yoko bricks. So you've seen these plenty already. The Yoko bricks, think of them like in Celeste had them, Mega Man has them. Bricks that go in and out on a timer. Ooh, and I accidentally missed my jump. These are incredibly tight window. You have very little time to think or act. Speaking of tight windows, this here is a stage that has a perfect cycle and a I don't know how recover if I miss it cycle. So to fall through that gap required perfect movement up until then. Fun fact, you'll notice projectiles tend to move the same speed as 5.8, which makes it very easy for if projectiles are behind you to not get hit by them. This stage, nice and chill. I've seen some people liken it to like a kind of a Persian rug where it's very geometric and kind of fun to just look at and get lost in. And we got Charlie the kitty. Look at Charlie playing right there. That's a good kitty. If we would have put a checkpoint after that one that we did, we would have been in big trouble. And now after a chill level, get that music pumping, get our energy going. These little guys in what looks like helipods of some sort, like little helicopter pods. You're probably thinking, what is up with those? Well, we will see them once more in the Love 2 level set. But then they are going to become a major part of some of the stages of Love 3. In fact, foreshadowing, we might steal one of their hover pods, or helipods. Ooh, barely missed that, and up we go. avoid bonking into a wall there to fall a little quicker and keep moving nice and smooth. You'll see the collectible down there. We'll put a checkpoint and fall back down, grab it, and be on our way. Be very careful here. This up and down motion can really throw you off. So right here, you could get past 2 at a time. These have a very tight window, but 2 at a time can be done. Speaking of tight windows, we are going to try and get ahead of this cycle. It did not make it, but all is good. That is a very tricky thing to do, to get that cycle. So if you end up, ooh, that was an accident. All right, here comes one of the coolest tricks in this game. It's called Wizard Skip. It's called that because this stage is called Wizard. That's because the song for this stage is called it. So we are going to get up here as quick as we can. On the left and right, you will notice there are platforms for safety. We are going to avoid them. You are not meant to do that in one go. You are meant to grab those safeties, and that was the final Charlie. Goodbye, Charlie, good kitty. So in that wizard upward ascent, you are not meant to do it all in one go. You are meant to grab the safety platforms on the side. But you play this game long enough, and you will get used to it, and you will end up just kind of doing the wizard skip. There's actually an achievement, at least in Love 2, for doing that without having any pause. So right here, just ride this out. It looks like a dangerous jump, but we just slide through. Checkpoint right here. You are meant to run left and right, back and forth. Instead, ooh, that shot my checkpoint. So instead of taking a checkpoint abuse to teleport back to it, I had to run back. That lost me like maybe a second or two. So ideally, I would have just warped back to my checkpoint using the self-sacrifice button, but nope. Game had different idea there, and this here is the final stage of Love 2. So, ooh, I should have put a checkpoint. I got a little greedy, but sometimes greedy is good if it means saving some frames. So the last stage of Love 2, you'll notice once again, all sorts of things we have already seen. There's the gun that chases us. Here's that thing that looked like an engine. And then we're going to take a leap of faith, the longest fall in this game. Here's that wizard elevator area. Oh, and I accidentally bopped my command. So this game does not have much in the way of coyote jumps. If you know what coyote jumps are, think of, or if you don't know, think of Wile E. Coyote from Looney Tunes cartoons, where he runs off a ledge, holds up the yikes sign before falling. Coyote jumps, a lot of games will let you jump when you have walked off a ledge. You get a few frames of grace. This game does not have much for coyote jumps, so it is a game that can be kind of unforgiving in that regard. Alright, so now we are out of Love 2 and into Love 3. Love 3, you are going to notice now on, our secrets are going to be secret. Our secrets are whole other levels of gameplay. So instead of just finding something that was hidden and we need to locate where it is, we have to unlock them. So right there, we want to hit those two spots, and then we hit that spot, and that opens this area. Every single area in terms of the secret for the stage is going to require multiple steps to resolve. So for example, this stage, our secret, we're going to see a unique kind of dimple. Ooh, did not mean to do that. See a dimple on the ground right below me. And so what we need to do is get this saw blade over to that dimple. And by running over that dimple, it creates an opening right here, which then lets us go up and actually collect the real secret, which destroys all of the traps on the stage. That was a poor jump right there, but we will make up for it as we just keep going. The great thing about this game is if you make a mistake, there's a lot of room to recover. We're going to do a glitch right here. Ooh. There we go. Got it first time and ended up coming up into a bullet. Ooh, that was unfortunate. I put a checkpoint where I did not want one, so we actually are going to lose a little bit of time on this stage. We did not want to put a checkpoint where I did. We need to keep a checkpoint right there. And now we are going to play jump rope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we wanted that checkpoint where we did because we need to go here because that is the secret for this stage. Unfortunately, we did lose like a half minute on that because of a poor checkpoint placement, but as I was trying to say before I interrupted myself, I do that sometimes, is the great thing about this game is if you make a mistake on one stage, well, you have a whole bunch of other stages make up for it. So by grabbing those hidden things, we could open that area, which gives us the secret for this stage. This stage, I always think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES. It's all about swimming that level 2 dam stage on Turtles. It's all about that with the toxic seaweed and just getting bopped by it. The swimming is very tricky in this game, and we will see swimming come back a few times. But for right now, we got this great upbeat music. We got some conveyor belts. I left that checkpoint for a reason because we wanted to warp right back to where we were. You can put a checkpoint on a conveyor belt, but it doesn't do you too much good because there's always these baddies moving on those conveyor belts. This one's all about, instead of Yoku bricks that disappear and reappear, this one is all about the bricks turn dangerous and then they turn, ooh, not so dangerous. And so, if you notice, oh, that was unfortunate. And now I am on a very bad cycle with this, and it is hard to recover when you fall onto this bad cycle, but there we go. One of the biggest challenges in this game is if you fall on a bad cycle, things just get bad. So right here, you'll notice these platforms, when I step on them, they change by a pixel. Like the white markings changed, and when you hit every block that had those weird pixels, that opened up those jump pads. So this one, you'll notice I hit that platform, it went click, and we lost some white pixels. I love calling this stage Dinky Kang. It's like Donkey Kong, but not. And so here, we are going to want to go right back there, but first, there's a secret. We want to be very careful not to put our checkpoints where they will be killed by these barrels, because that would be bad news. If we died, we would go back to the very start of the stage if our checkpoint dies. So instead, we'll do that. And by grabbing those 3 spots, 1, 2, 3, I need to count here. 1, 2, 3, kind of keep on rhythm. Bump, 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 bump. And so by doing that, we opened up this area. By aiming specifically how I did, I was able to put a checkpoint so I could teleport back to the exit in a hurry. You're meant to actually fall all the way through without being able to grab that checkpoint or put that checkpoint down. And so this one, we've got a couple of these. I did not mean to do that. I'm going to quickly do that. All right. I got a little greedy there. By clicking all those things, we made a portal right here that put us into kind of a mini stage. We go through the portal and grab the secret, and away we go. This stage, you'd think I would have wanted to leave a checkpoint back there so I could quickly grab that, but we did not want to do that, because if you restart at your checkpoint, you would make that secret bubble go away. And now, because we grabbed that secret bubble, we could open up this area. Once again, we're in a water area, and we get the collectible, the secret for the stage. And then we have another one that I liken to Donkey Kong-ish. There's a few Donkey Kong adjacent stages, and you could tell Fred Wood, the designer of this game, definitely has some affinity for old school games. You have a lot of influences of Donkey Kong, Mega Man, and all sorts of other games like those. We grab the collectible, which is going to actually turn off these barrels from being made, and you're probably like, no, it's not. I see barrels still. Well, we are now done with the barrels, and I bopped, so we got to see the end of the barrels. I always think of this stage like being inside of a pinball machine. It's very much like trying to climb up a pinball machine from the inside. And so we want to just try to avoid all of these various things that could cause us to go flying all around. We're going to put a checkpoint there for a very good reason. We're going to hop up here. We need to hit this, go back here, hit that one. And then we need to hit those. And that is the secret. And if you're thinking, boy, these secrets are really tricky. Like, there is secret, and then these are just secrets. That is the whole point. So Fred Wood wanted to make it where you had to work for the secrets on Love 3. And then we left our checkpoint at the top, because that's where the exit is. So after we got that secret collected, we wanted to just teleport all the way back to our checkpoint. This game, one of the big ways of handling speedrunning is A, knowing when to die, but B, knowing how to take advantage of checkpoints. The game lets you use checkpoints whenever you want, which may seem almost like cheating, like it's too easy for its own good, but at the same time, it sets you up for failure if you don't know what you're doing. So we are always going to want to take advantage of those checkpoints. This stage, there are guns that we can control somewhat, and there are two colors of blocks that the guns can destroy. There are purple blocks, and there are white blocks. If we touch a white block, it will kill us. And if we destroy a white block with the gun, it is gone forever. Never to return. Well, never until the next time we play through this game. And so, what we need to do is a sound cue. I misaimed on that one. There it is. So what we need to do is get rid of every single white block. That is our challenge on this stage. If we want the collectible secret, it's all about getting rid of the white blocks. I went a little too fast, so we need to swing back around. And so we're going to get rid of every white block, which is a whole lot slower than just getting rid of the ones you need to get through the stage. And I just grabbed a collectible that appeared right under this gun. And then we just zipped through. And now by getting all those white blocks, it opened a little hole in the wall right here. do not die because our checkpoint is back quite a bit. In fact, it's back here, and now we're going to exit the stage. I mentioned those helipods from Love 2 would be coming back. Well, guess what? They're back. And this time, we're going to steal one. I hope you're ready to go for a joyride. And it is not much of a joy. This joyride, if you know Flappy Bird, that is what this feels like. It controls really bad. I like to call this Flappy Bird if Flappy Bird was a really bad shopping cart at the local grocery store. You all know that shopping cart that controls really bad. We'll put down a safety checkpoint right there. So we went to 4 areas and caused 4 things to click. That opens up this area. That lets us grab the secret, and there we go. And grabbing that secret, we can now leave the stage, and we are at the midterm. Love 3 introduces midterm, so there are 4 areas on this stage. Each one has a little blip that we need to collect. It'll create a jump pad so we could clear the stage all the way to the left. First, we're going to go out of bounds a little bit and grab the collectible. And we are going to steal a car from the driving test. We will go up here real quick, see Milo and Bork, kitty and dog. That is not required, but I figured we all love Charlie, so why not have a little Milo and Bork love right there. And right now I am on a frame perfect start to this stage. Essentially got a cycle that is next to impossible to get, which is really cool. And then I managed to die a few times, but I am still way ahead of the cycle I should be on, which is fantastic. This stage, there are a bunch of little areas that when you touch them, like this, it clicks, you get all of them, this area opens up, and there we go. And with that, we are going to one last Donkey Kong adjacent level right here. So bring on those barrels. Let's have a barrel of fun. Looks like a barrel of monkeys, except for that barrel of monkeys is not going to violently kill us like this game will, because this game does like to see us suffer if we don't know what we're doing. But I think we do know what we're doing. We're going to avoid these spinners. And I'm going to try to avoid these as well as I can, but we are going to revisit them. We're at the end of the stage, no collectible, no secret yet. That's because if we got all of the blips, that was unfortunate. If we get all the blips we were trying to, when we get to the very end, we could cause the stage to move in reverse, and those marathon jitters are getting to me right now, but it's all good. And now we could get that collectible. We left a checkpoint so we could head on back. We are going to leave a checkpoint where I just did. We are going to grab, these are not collectibles, these are keys. Keys and collectibles can look very similar. These keys will cause these dotted lines to fade away. If you had a checkpoint on a dotted line, that checkpoint, like right here, it would die as soon as you destroy that dotted line. Fun thing about these helipods, if you crash them into walls that are dotted like these, you could break them. So I'm going to break this wall, and you're probably like, that's cool, wait, you broke it, why are you leaving? I don't want to do anything with that wall. I just wanted to break it as a demonstration. Also foreshadowing, I might be back to it in just a second. Oh, flew a little too, pretty much pulled an Icarus, flew a little too close to the sun there. And now, this is why I broke those walls earlier, so I could get through there. Had a checkpoint here, so, got greedy. Had a checkpoint there so I could get to the end in a hurry. And then this stage is like a semi-auto-scroller. It is auto-scroller adjacent because these things, you cannot go any quicker than they will let you. By the way, the music, if you are loving it, check it out. You can find it like on Oh, I accidentally died just a fraction of a second early. I believe you could find it on Spotify. It is just a real vibe to just listen to and chill out to. And here we go. I had to get that right-hand one first, then the left-hand one. And then this guy is going to go at the same speed I do, so do not take a breath. And there we go. Getting all of those opens those jump panels, and then we will go up here. That is not the collectible, that just opens the collectible. The collectible is down here, and there we go. And you're probably wondering, at the end of all of this, what is the point of grabbing all these collectibles? Is there a reason we're doing that? There is. And we'll get to that soon enough. But first, now we have the stage that I call the haunted house, because not because it's house-like, but these things are so ghostly. And they just kind of float around and cause all sorts of problems. We want to get those two little blips that will open up this area. And this here is the collectible. And then, very tight fit. This game, though, is very fair on the controls. What's great is this game moves at 60 frames per second. So if you notice that timer in the upper left corner, it is based on 60 frames per second. Oh, barely went a touch slow. So if these platforms, we could ride them down, but when they come back up, they are dangerous, they are energized. And so this game, the controls has it where you move left and right at one pixel per frame, and you move at 60 frames per second. So it's a very fair game in terms of movement. Right here, you need to do little baby, oh, I missed one. You need to do little baby jumps because you'll notice that ceiling, which is white, will kill you if you touch it. And it's getting closer and closer as you descend it. Getting all of those, now let's go over here. And my favorite collectible sound of the game. I love that ding, ding, ding. It's so simple, but it is gratifying. It tells you, hey, you got the collectible. So this one right here, oh, I got just a touch on the greedy side. These move at the same speed you do, so we can keep moving with them and ride them. We have a few of these little things we need to click, and we'll just keep riding. And that's the last one. It creates this jump pad, which lets us go into this little mini water area and grab the collectible. Ooh, I just was slight. There we go. Believe it or not, that's incredibly tricky. So this one, it's almost like you're going up an elevator shaft, but I noticed this wall that is breakable with helipods. So instead of going all the way up and then back down, we're going to ride that wall. And we're going to steal a helipod instead of these very tricky jump pads, and activate this thing, which then opens this thing. Oh. And then we are now going to leave the stage because we got the collectible, and we are down to the last two stages of the game after this. So if there is any announcement, it is a great time right now as we're wrapping things up.
Absolutely. Just reminding folks that thanks to the generous donations from supporters, the Canadian Cancer Society has been able to fund thousands of researchers and invest more than $2 billion into cancer research. And because of that investment, today about 64% of Canadians diagnosed with cancer will survive at least 5 years after their diagnosis. To learn more about Canadian Cancer Society and the work that they do, visit cancer.ca.
All right, and now we are on the final exam. This time we cannot cheat. We have to do all 4 parts of the exam. The bottom one is about water and platforms, and trying to jump out of the water can be very tricky. We left a checkpoint because now is the flying part of the exam. But guess what? We're going to cheat. We're skipping the flying part. There we go. Who needs to do that whole area? Instead, we're just going to blip on through, leave a checkpoint here, and now we have a little puzzle with buttons. Luckily, we know the solution. The solution is middle, right, left, and we left a checkpoint for a reason because it is a lot quicker. We leave a checkpoint here, and this is the final part of the exam. Time is coming up really soon. Quickly go back here, and time will be as soon as the screen goes black. So in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. And so, why did we go through 100%? 5-8 was looking for friends, but by getting all of the secrets, we blew a hole in the floor instead of exiting how we were meant to, and 5-8 found all the friends. We get a happy, beautiful, wonderful ending for 5-8. Because friends are important, community is important, just like all of us coming together to raise money for a great cause is important. If you're interested in this game, it's fantastic. It gives you all these stats at the end where you could see how many checkpoints you put down, how many jumps, how many deaths, so many different things. The game has a lot of cool features to help you out if you're having a hard time. Like there's slow-mo, which you can see was disabled. It'll tell you how many secrets you found. There's all sorts of really cool things in this game. So if you want a fun game with really cool music, it's a little punishing, but it feels so good to complete it and so good to bring 5-8 to his friends. So with that, I am so honored to have been able to wrap up Tuesday night for all of you. It's been a wonderful night of speedruns, and it's been wonderful to be able to bring you just a little bit of love.
Indeed. Thank you, Heponwana, so much for that incredible run. That was a ton of fun to watch. I was sitting there vibing and enjoying 5-8's little movements as he bounced upwards. With that being said, that is the final run of day 2 here at Game Over Cancer, but we will be back tomorrow. We have an exciting day of Mega Man runs. That's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be kicking off at 5:45 p.m. Eastern, 2:45 p.m. Pacific time. If you're in other time zones, I'm sorry, I can't convert that, but you can type !S in the chat. That will take you to the schedule, which will show it to you in your time zone. I've been your host, Silktooth Mind. It's been a pleasure being here. We've raised $630 already for the Canadian Cancer Society, which is huge. Really appreciate all of you. And I'll be back with you on Saturday for a run and more hosting, but make sure you're here all week because we got incredible runs all week. Stick around. We're going to go raid someone. Send the love over to them. We got to keep that love going. We'll see you back here tomorrow.